Welcome to This Week in the SFL week, what is it, 4 edition, right, Mike?
That's right, Cam. Week 4. Yeah. 4 weeks in the book, yeah.
It is in the books, almost. We've got Fort Worth and Mexico City on the Monday night spectacular coming up, and we've got Super Chats, and I don't know, SFL Nation, are you going to let Skippy just walk all over you like she has every week so far on this show? $9.99 Super Chat. She says, say something nice about Hacker. He looks good in the woods. You should see the recent photo that he sent, I guess, of his vacation. I'm just saying that's something nice. Looks good in the woods. Bridge City Bird, that's Brett Killian. $5 Canadian, whatever that is in United States money. Say something nice about Skippy. She rules Monday nights. How about that? Because she definitely does.
Truth.
And we got another great show coming for you. We have the music playing. The microphones are working. We are on time, which automatically makes this the best week of the show so far. But, Mike, we got to do something about our backgrounds. We're looking like the most basic humans on the planet. You're in a remote location. I'm in witness protection. Hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
What can you do, Cam? Hey, this is us, right? They should make a reality TV show of how basic we are this week.
Wow, canceled after the pilot. Yikes, just like Seinfeld. All right, weekly headlines coming up here in the SFL. The streak is over, Mike. Holy crap, Queen City routs the Preds. They end a 15-game losing streak. Dates back to October. Mike, crazy. They got the monkey off their back. Alamo City continues their win streak. They are now 3-0. They beat Houston. They are one of 2 teams that are now 3-0. Fort Worth trying to become the 3rd. And another heartbreak for Louisiana. They're off to a 1-3 start. They get clipped by DC late. What a great weekend of action, Mike. What stood out to you amongst the highlights?
Yeah, just looking at these 3 games, obviously you can't go wrong with like the Queen City victory, right? After what was it, 15? Yeah, lost the last 15 games. They the organization brings in Charles Plant, and they draft Alex Marshall so high, and you have such a, I can feel it, like the culture change in Queen City is changing, and this is not the same Queen City that we've seen as of lately.
It was a great week 4, and we're excited to conclude it tonight in Tulsa, their home opener, so we get a chance to look at Lucy Red for the first time. Fort Worth has never been to Tulsa, so it's brand new territory for the Toros, and it's been a while, Mike. For a couple of weeks now, over 2 weeks, we have not seen Fort Worth, and they've given us some pretty good stuff. Looking forward to getting to that. But first, we kick the show off in Portland, where the Denver Nightwings lead the show. This opening drive was a thing of beauty. Balance, balance, balance was the theme of the day for Denver. That Gene Struthers pass goes to Dylan Lewis. Then they get Bailey O'Shaughnessy working on short down yardage to move the chains for a first down. By the way, one of the best uniform matchups of the week, too. Then 3rd down and 8. Gene Struthers finds... That's Jeremy Mosley with the catch. And then on 2nd and goal, he hands off to R.E. Mills, the fullback. It's the touchdown, and Denver takes a 7-0 lead over Portland.
Fullback getting in there.
Yeah, no kidding. Cyrus Jive trying to answer back for the Fleet. He's got plenty of time, but it's picked off. Lucas DeVore, it's 10-7 at this point in the second quarter, and Denver's going back to work. Look at this dime. Gene Struthers. Oh, into the corner. Fit that one into a toothpaste tube. Dylan Lewis with another catch, and they'd punch it in again. This is Bailey O'Shaughnessy, the fullback, going in motion, blocking for R.E. Mills, and he's got his second. 17-7 at that point. Mike, Denver was putting on a clinic.
Yeah, it's so great to see them getting R.E. Mills involved. You kind of didn't see so much production out of the first few weeks. But look, the fact that Bailey's going out and blocking for R.E. Mills, like Denver is epitomizing the team spirit right now.
Too bad they can't tackle on special teams. The Denver kicker gets a stiff arm into the grass, and Portland would respond. Leo Morris with the touchdown on the kick return makes it 17-14. Now Struthers in the red zone just before the half. Logan Keel, what a beautiful throw to the back shoulder, makes it 24-14 Denver. Gene Struthers down the middle hits another player on this team. Wheeler, the rookie, with his first catch. 27-21. Denver now hands it off to Bailey O'Shaughnessy. He scores 34-21 with 7 minutes to go in the fourth. Everybody doing it for Denver, but Portland was not done. Ezekiel Love gets a couple of blocks. He goes untouched for the score, and it's a 6-point game just like that. On the next Denver possession, they were stopped for the first time in the game. Portland got the ball back. Now a 4th and 1 at the Denver 30, down 6, trying to win the game. Lozano Jr. goes in motion, and Lucas DeVore is going to come up with the stop. He had the catch, did Lozano, and DeVore shuts the door, and Denver wins 34-28 over the Portland Fleet to improve to 2-2. I know that was one of the games that was not necessarily on your radar this week, Mike, but an incredible performance by Denver on the road to get the victory.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset I missed it. I mean, watching the highlights. I caught a little bit of the highlights earlier. But, man, I'll tell you what, Denver really, I mean, kudos. I got to give a shout-out to Stephon Forge and company over there in Denver, because they really are looking like a balanced team. And you know what I love about this team, Cam, is there's no big names. It doesn't feel like any big name. Yes, Bailey O'Shaughnessy, right? But all of these players getting involved, right? They're players that they really embody the team culture over there, and Denver's doing a great job. Props to Denver's coaching staff for getting, the players that may not be, on the field every single snap involved. I think that's the difference.
I think what Denver realized this week is, yes, we have Bailey O'Shaughnessy, but if we're going to win games, which they started 1-2, we can actually take advantage of the fact that we have a bunch of dudes, right? They don't have anybody that really needs the football in the passing game, so they can really spread it around nicely, and they really kind of unlocked it this week. They're 2-2, and who they play next week, Mike?
Oh, I don't know. I'd have to check somebody's calendar, because I'm just not sure.
Well, that would be San Diego. San Diego next week. That should be a good game, as Denver has been kind of the surprise team in the West. Now, before we shift gears, we have to talk about Jacob Bouvette and just the tragedy that him and his family have experienced with the wildfires in Washington State. They lost their house, Mike. Somebody do me a solid, because I'm operating on limited monitors at the moment, and I can't just go and copy and paste the GoFundMe without screwing up the whole show. Somebody post that GoFundMe link in the chat in case anybody hasn't seen it yet. It's just a sad state of affairs, Mike, and it feels like there's at least one person in our community every year that is just going through a horrible time, and you just feel for Jacob. I never wanted a team to win so bad. With Portland playing at home, trying to get the win on that day. But, I mean, there's some things that are more important than life, not only than football, but virtual football. And I just feel for the Bouvettes today.
The good news is that them, not only them, but their two dogs, I mean, like their whole family, everybody was evacuated safely. And that's the important part, because at the end of the day, it is, yes, I mean, it's heartbreaking to lose everything, especially this is a dream home they got built, recently. But, at the end of the day, you can't replace people. You can't replace members of the family. And that's all that you can say is at least everybody got out safely, because it really is a tragedy.
Please, insurance, don't be a scam. Get your ads off television and help this guy and his family rebuild. Please and thank you. So our hearts... prayers, thoughts, feelings with the Bouvette family. And you know what? That's why you build a good infrastructure, Mike. He's got Mel Davis, Nelson Lozano Jr. He's got guys that he can lean on in these tough times. System. Nelson Lozano Jr. on this team just God, it was either last year or the year before that, suffered a terrible work injury at his place of work, and that was a crazy experience, and put that podcast on hiatus. And so, golly, you just want everybody in the SFL family to be okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, let's move on to the highlights, and we head now to Houston for the Battle of the South. Ace Fennec off a play fake. Look at this throw across the field, across his body to Yayo Montana for the touchdown. Alamo City had their way with this Houston secondary much of the day. But Josh Slapp, this dude, man, he's got the moves in the open field. He picks him a first down to start the second quarter with Houston down to 7-3. And then his running mate, G.P. Wells, would flash into the end zone and pick up a 10-7 lead. Back and forth we went. The horned helmets for Houston trying to get him to 3-0. Now, next possession, Ace Fennec. Again, clean pocket. Down the field, Kendra Wells beats an aggressive defense and is gone. Untouched for the score, and Alamo City's back in front.
That was crazy. Cam, watching this game, it was crazy to see the diversity of play calling from both teams. But Alamo City, early on, I mean, Ace Fennec was on fire. They could do no wrong.
Look at all the time, and Kenny Hendricks with the touchdown. He had the kick return earlier. His only catch of the game was that touchdown, and Alamo City goes up 21-13. Ace Fennec has hit now 3 different receivers for touchdowns. Dave Burr gets creative in the offense, dumps it off Slap, breaks a tackle, and scores. Come on, McGuire. 21-19, ACA only up 2. Now, we saw this. This was a big headline of the day as Dave Burr tried to make something happen. That's Bovine going the wrong way. Must have been looking for that wedding. 2-point conversion, no good. 21-19, Alamo City maintains the lead in the third, but more on the goal line offense for Houston a bit later. 2:40 to go in the third. Fennec up 2. Looking around, look at the time. Deep down the field, caught Montana again as Rowe had an interception earlier in the game. Drags him down and wraps him up, but Alamo City was not done. Fennec. Look at the pocket. They only rush 3. No rush. Fennec. Oh, what a dot. Deuce. Fennec. AC Ducey. Touchdown, Alamo City. 4th different receiver to catch a touchdown pass for the artillery. 6 minutes to go in the 4th. Dave Burr rolling to his right, rolling to his left, avoids the tackle, and then hits DR Sim, who gets all the way down to the 2-yard line, but it wasn't enough, Mike, because 3 straight times and then a 4th straight time on 4th and goal they couldn't get in.
Yeah, and this is one of those situations. I mean, they called very similar plays 3 times in a row. You know, it seems like they were really trying to exploit the inside or the interior of that defensive line of Alamo City. And this is the importance of having that diversity in the playbook. That all comes back to coaching because, look, Houston played a good enough game to win this game. That's the big takeaway from this. To me, I literally think that Houston doesn't move, in my opinion, as far as power rankings. Alamo City is a great team. They are proven. They continue to show people why they should be number 1 in the league, or why a lot of people think that. But Houston held their own. They really did. And that's with Houston's safeties getting beat a couple times.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. My opinion on Houston and Alamo City goes unchanged this week. Both played a really good game. Alamo City was slightly better. The artillery are off to a 3-0 start, Mike, and I mean they're not blowing anybody out, but they have played an extremely tough schedule. They have taken out Vancouver by 7, they have taken out Minnesota by 7, and they took out Houston by 9. And those are 3 of the top 8 to 10 teams in the league right now. It's been really impressive, and I fear for anyone that Alamo City has next on their schedule that is not in the top 10, because it could get ugly.
Yeah, I mean, it's been really efficient. I think that's the only way that I can describe Alamo City is efficient. Anytime an Alamo City player is on the field, they do their job. You know, they do their job, and they do it well. And it's not always going to be pretty. You know, there's going to be some blemishes, but Alamo City continues to prove that they are, the team that everybody thinks that they are.
What Houston has next is Fort Worth and Minnesota. So we're going to learn a lot about Houston, Mike. I think if they can, even if they get out of it 1-2, I think they should feel okay being at 3-2, getting through the gauntlet of their first half of their schedule and getting on to some easier opponents, right? I mean, they just need to split these next ones to feel good, I think.
That's it.
Yeah.
if you can split the next two games, if you could just go 1-1 over the next two games, that's a huge win. Fort Worth, Minnesota, these are two very, very highly rated teams, and they've both proven to be dangerous. But look, Houston is no slouch. I'm sorry to those of you at home, if you were looking, for the show to come out and say Houston wasn't what we thought they were, you're not going to get what you want, because Houston looks good still, even with a loss to ACA. And I honestly, going out on a limb here, but I think Houston will go at least 1-1 over these next 2 weeks.
All right, so that's Houston, Alamo City. It lived up to the billing. The previous week, our big, matchup between two teams that we had high expectations of. Well, it didn't pan out. Alamo City and Houston, they lived up to it, and it was a great game. Let's go to Indy, the first primetime game at the Snake Pit, but somebody's got to stop the high-flying leaping Justin Williams. That's his 6th touchdown of the season. How would Alamo City respond with their best player? Ryan Roosevelt gets open on Sean Moore. That's a mismatch that Indy did a pretty good job all night exploiting. Later in the drive, still down 7-0 late in the first quarter. Christian Pierce showing the will to live, getting the first down and moving the chains as Gamble wraps them up. Now Indianapolis in the red zone. Colin Pierce, nice pocket, fires it over to Jeff Banfield. Indy showing some balance on this drive, getting it inside the 2-yard line. Finish them. Christian Pierce scores. He says, hey, I can clear the bar too. Reverse limbo. Tie game at 7 with 1 minute to go in the first quarter. Next play. Ashley Jackson tosses it out to DJ Moses. Whoopsie. Got to tackle that man. DJ Moses is gone all the way for the score.
Yeah, I think that both teams really did a good job out the gate here. Arizona really, I think the utilization of Justin Williams is huge for Arizona because it takes a lot of pressure off of DJ Moses. But yeah, like you said, Indianapolis did a great job early on too with the balance. And look at that scramble.
Run, AJ, run! Mama Bears in the end zone. Touchdown, her first career rushing touchdown after Arizona's defense did their job inside the 5. Made it 21-10 now late third quarter. Look at this pass. Colin Pierce stepping up into the pocket. Penalty declined. This is one of the best throws of the weekend.
Yeah, it was a really, really good throw. And at the end of the day, anytime your quarterback's making throws like that, it's definitely something going right.
Sean Moore getting exposed in the passing game again. That's why he's sitting with his dog today, resting and relaxing. That pass is caught to start the fourth quarter. That is Randy Pierce with the score. It's a 4-point game early in the fourth quarter. Crazy, but Arizona would finish them off. Jackson deep down the field, hits hands in double coverage for the first down with 6 to go. Justin Williams, if you got 6, why not get 7? This dude is elite. Scores, and Arizona goes up 11. DJ Moses would finish him off.
And that's it. That's just it. Arizona's been doing that, so far this season. That's been the difference. Kind of similar to Alamo City, right? Arizona, they're playing close games. It's not like they're blowing anybody out, right? Arizona is finding a way to finish games, with the exception of the loss to Seattle. But yeah, Arizona is finding ways to finish games, and that's exactly why they're sitting where they're at, 3-1.
Jack Wall, $5 super chat. Norwood never graduated high school. Dang, dude. Love the scruff cam. Please grow the beard. You don't want to see that. It's just all gray. Ashley Jackson caught up with Eddie Gage in our first PGI of the day.
And welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with Mr. Eddie Gage. He is the co-owner, head coach, and Hall of Fame strong safety for the Arizona Scorpions, coming fresh off a win from the Indianapolis Ramblers. How are you doing?
I'm good, Ashley. How about yourself?
Hey, I'm doing fantastic, man. I know you're doing all right, especially seeing how productive the team was this week in your battle against the Ramblers. So tell me, because Arizona was pretty run heavy last week. Prior to then, you were pretty balanced. So what led to this new approach that you decided to take?
Honestly, I have no idea. The game plan is always to stay balanced because I want to keep teams guessing. to make it harder to prepare for us. And so I was not planning to run the ball that much, but that's just the way it just happened to turn out.
Yeah, apparently he ran the ball so much that the quarterback even got a touchdown running the ball. What was that? What was that like in the locker room voice chat?
Well, Ashley was going crazy. Everybody except me was excited. And I remember yelling during the VC to slide, but you went in there unabated because they were playing man defense. And but yeah, I want Ashley, I want you to stay behind the offensive line. We got 5 guys back there, and they're there for a reason to protect you. So, only run when necessary. And if you do run, just slide, please. That's all I ask.
Yeah.
And don't wait till the last minute to slide. Slide early. They still be diving at you and whatnot.
Yeah, well, it was an amazing feeling to see myself actually, out of the 10 seasons I've been here, actually score a rushing touchdown. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was because of the
Hopefully that's your
gameplay.
last one.
It was because of the gameplay that you put together. So, fantastic word, Coach. You definitely went back into the drawing board. What do you think your biggest challenge would be next week against your opponents?
Vancouver. They're kind of flipping the script a little bit, but they're playing, they're always known for their deep passing game and stuff like that. But this season, they're playing fantastic defense, and they do a little bit of everything to keep you guessing. Just like I talked about a moment ago, they play zone, they play man, they blitz, they do a bit of everything. So we got our work ahead of cut out for us because they play pretty well rounded defensively, and they bring in pressure too, man. They front four is getting to the quarterback oftentimes without even blitzing. So we got to keep our head on the swivel next week.
Indeed. Well, Streets of Talking Battle one. Senior Eddie Gage, Chad.
I hated that. That's my guy. I mean, one of us got to lose, but I'd rather him be him than me. But I really hated having to play him this week. That was painful.
I'm sure y'all gonna talk about it very soon. But thanks for your time, Coach. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, back to you in the booth.
Thank you, Ashley. And you hear how protective Eddie is of Ashley on that scramble. Can you imagine him teaching his kids how to drive? Like, you got your bubble wrap on? Like, golly, poor guy.
Put your helmet on.
But but either way, man, Ashley does not need to be bubble wrapped. She's got it on lock, and they got the win. That was a cool play.
Yeah, it was always good to see, especially. I mean, that's like the first. I think it is the first rushing touchdown from a QB this season, right?
Yeah, I think so.
That's crazy.
Good
Congrats,
to see.
AJ. That's awesome. Yeah.
Speaking of firsts, let's go to Buffalo. Scoreless, but a 5-minute-plus opening drive finds Jet 0 into the end zone, and the zero's off the board. 7-0 Queen City on top. Next possession, John Lakeman, the former Corsair quarterback. Oh, you're not playing for them anymore. Ted Haynes with the pick 6. He's gone. 14-0 Queen City. They grab early momentum. Charleston responds. Look at this little dump off. Terrell Sutherland, fullback on a little Texas route. Out of the backfield, makes it 14-7. Queen City trying to fight back, but Matt Ryan makes the stop and forces the field goal. 17-7. Charleston gets the ball back. Lakeman, you don't play for them anymore. J.B. Wallace with another one. He is Gio, and he gone. 24-7. That set the tone. That set the tone, Mike, in this one.
Yeah, Queen City's defense really, really making a statement here and saying this is not the Queen City that you thought we were coming into this season. Really kind of going up 30-10 here was huge for Queen City.
Trellis Blanton makes it a 30-burger in the first half, but Charleston needs an answer. They get one. Nick Hoagland, not once, but Nick Hoagland twice. This one more impressive. Nobody on the back end of it, and all of a sudden, it is a 10-point game. Check that. 13-point game with 5 minutes to go, but Queen City would close. Trellis Blanton avoiding the rush. Adrian Ellis breaks off a tackle. gets a first down, and then one more really seals it for Queen City. Blanton fires it over to Zero. That's just a great decision. Look at the blocking. Zero down the sideline. He gets all the way inside the 10, and Queen City would end up punching it in and ending the game. It's worth going back and listening to the last 3 minutes of game time of that game. Brilliant call by Chris Slovic. We're happy to have him back on the call with a microphone that doesn't sound like it's from 80 years ago. And Slovic is just one of the best. He said at the end of the game, I'm paraphrasing, but he said, turn out the lights, go and get that glass of milk that's moldy and green and you've been waiting to drink all this time. You've won the game. You can finally drink it, then you can throw up afterwards. He's at another level, man. That dude is hilarious. Queen City gets the win 44-24 over Charleston. Mike, I thought Charleston played good, not great. Sorry, we're going to fix my camera here a little bit. But yeah, tell us about Queen City's victory.
Yeah, I mean, Queen City, like you said it, they came out, they really played good defense. That was the statement from the beginning. From the get-go, it was all defense from Queen City. But the thing is, and the thing I want to point out to a lot of people, Trellis Blanton, right? This is a walk-on from Seattle, or from coming from Seattle last season. Trellis Blanton comes into Queen City, comes into a new location, really helps turn this franchise around. And Cam, he's been playing really good. He's been playing really efficient, right? The Trellis we knew in Seattle was very prone to interceptions, was very prone to, throwing in very, very tight windows, triple coverage, double coverage, triple coverage. Trellis Blanton this season has played really, really good, and really just kind of epitomizing what they tell your quarterbacks, which is, get your best players out in open space. We saw it with that Jet Zero play at the end of the game. But as for Charleston, look, no harm, no foul. At the end of the day, they played a good game. Queen City just came out and I think wanted this one a little bit more. They wanted to show that Charleston wasn't going to come in and big brother them, and they did a really, really good job holding their own against Charleston.
All right, we're hoping it wouldn't be a show this season without a technical issue, but there we go, we got it back. Thank you, Mike, for holding down the fort while I fix that issue. But yeah, Charleston with another loss, I feel like they're going to be okay. Queen City, they were due. Alex Marshall of the Corsairs, their excellent first-round pick, had this to say to Ashley at PGI.
All right, welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with free safety Alex Marshall. How are you doing today, sir?
I'm doing good. Celebrating finally getting that win. Got a bit really unlucky last week with a heartbreaking DPI at the end, so really big win today, and good to get it against Charleston as well.
Absolutely. Now, I remember saying that everyone, first of all, stop, cut. I wanted to introduce you a different way. Okay. Take two.
Oh.
It's okay. This is why I don't mind doing live, but of course I can always cut it.
Fair enough.
All right. 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to PGI, where I am joined with free safety of Queen City, Mr. Alex Marshall, coming off a fresh win today. How are you doing?
Yeah, no, I'm doing great. Doing good. Been celebrating all evening here in the UK. First win in the pros, and good to get after a bit of a heartbreaker last week against Carolina, and it was really good to get the first win, particularly against Charleston.
I bet it was. It's funny because I had mentioned it at one point that I wanted to see a different ball game from Sioux Falls and from Queen City specifically. So what are some of the highlights of this game that, you want to make mention of for everybody?
Well, we'd had a bit of a struggle to start the year with getting the run game properly going, and then with this one, Jet Zero broke out with 180 plus yards, I think it was. And then on defense, we were getting turnovers, 2 pick sixes to really fly ahead early on. Which was good because obviously Charleston are a very good team, and definitely need to have a big margin there for when they do start going into comeback mode and start trying to come back. And they did get some points on there. I was definitely very nervous right until the very end, but we were able to pull away. And it wasn't as nervy and as tense as last week, which is good.
Awesome. So, do you think that this is the turnaround point, the turning point for your season?
I hope so. Yes. I'm doing scouting for Queen City, so I'm in the coach's room, and I was able to put some input in about things that were working and weren't working, while also point out things that Charleston were doing in their last game, and we were able to kind of narrow down on what we wanted to do and take out some plays on offense that weren't working in the first 2 weeks, and we really settled on a really good game plan. And when you see the ratings differences between us and them, it's really impressive, and it just shows that it doesn't matter about what your ratings necessarily are. You can definitely come out on the day and get a win with the right game plan.
That's all it takes. Any given sim day, right?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you guys for the rest of the season. Love to see what Queen City is going to do. And shooting it back to you guys in the booth.
Good stuff, Ashley. And man, sorry we missed you there on that edit. But my camera froze, and I don't have a rushing touchdown, and neither did any of the other quarterbacks. So whatever. Great stuff with Alex Marshall. Marshall brings up a great point there, Mike, about Queen City they don't have the best roster in the league. Let's put it that way. And yet they're still going out there competing every week. They have not had a single bad performance yet through the first 4 weeks.
No, the coaching's really been good. And, look, like you said, they don't have, all the fancy, shiny tools in the tool shed that everybody has. But at the end of the day, their mind has been in the right place going into every week, and they've done good preparations, and they've been in every game, Cam. They've been in every game. And like I said, I love their idea right now and their theory with getting their best players out in space. It's really working for them.
Back to the highlights. Louisiana at D.C. The Revs started strong, finished strong. Would it be enough? Chris Grant Jr. with the touchdown on Louisiana's opening drive. D.C. would respond. It was kind of a theme for the weekend. D.C.'s Shabazz Synergy finds Lauren Percoco. She is a red zone machine. Unreal. DC's offense so efficient at times. 7-7, 2 minutes to go in the first. Tommy Utah with pressure. Got it away early and picked off Daryl Bullock. It won't hit the box score, but that pressure in the face of Tommy Utah was the difference in that throw.
Yeah, it was really, really the entire difference. I mean, Utah really just didn't have a clear window to throw that into, and props to DC's defense and secondary for capitalizing. But how about them DC uniforms? Sorry.
Oh, man, they were enter the Dragon unis. Kevin Say, look at this, breaks a tackle, and then has the presence of mind to dive ahead of the pylon for the score. 21-7, DC on top of Louisiana, and honestly, it felt like this was kind of a wrap. And then Louisiana really started to get rolling. This is Reggio De Niro for the score just before the half. Tommy Utah started to cook, 21-14, now in the third quarter. Utah fires down the field, hits Adam Banks, who dropped a key pass earlier in the game. Redemption there. Late in the third quarter, 3rd and 5, Louisiana in scoring position. Tommy Utah gets nailed and hits Lyric Da Vinci for a critical first down. What a throw. Then on 1st and goal, handoff, Dwayne Salmons on the ground is DC, and Louisiana is tied 21-21. DC kind of in molasses in the second half. Watch this play. Shabazz Synergy flip out, fumble. Gary Klim knocked it out of Kevin Say's hands even before he had an opportunity to collect it, and then recovers his own fumble. Louisiana shutting out DC in the second half. They have a chance to go and win the ball game. Tommy Utah down the field. Oh, it's picked. Oh, it's picked off. That's not good. DC gets the ball back. 1:55 to go in a tie game. This one back and forth till the end. Shabazz Synergy. Lauren Percoco rolls into the end zone for the score. Too strong. 1:13 left. DC up by 7, 4th and 1. Tommy Utah, look at this beauty. All the way back across the field, converts the 4th and 1 to move the sticks to Liam Hammer. Louisiana stays alive. Next play, Utah. It's picked. Darrell Bullock takes it away. DC holds on for the win.
That was the entire difference, was the secondary of DC. I mean, Tommy Utah really showed a lot of poise in a lot of situations. But Percoco and the DC secondary really was the difference maker there. I think, again, I know I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Louisiana, I mean, they were there. They were in it. There's really nothing there. It seems, Cam, like they're just so close to every game, right? Like the game plans are there, the efficiency's there, the players are doing what they have to, but the cards are not going in their favor.
One of the things that I like from Colin Coward is he talks about these one-score wins and losses, and the teams that have way too many wins or losses, usually law of averages, they come back down to earth, right? Louisiana is just in a period right now where they've had 3 straight one-score losses, but that's not who they are. That's going to come back at some point. The pendulum's going to swing the other way, and then Louisiana's going to start winning some of these games. That's what I would expect out of the Revs. DC, back-to-back, solid wins against the East. Atlanta and Louisiana in back-to-back weeks. Okay, now to Baltimore. Canton was visiting the 4-time champs. Look at Scar Patterson avoiding the sack. Al Dillapre Sr. with the one-handed grab. That was a pretty snag, but Canton would have to settle for a field goal. Now 9-3. Canton with the lead, and Warren Murray says, I can get to the corner faster than you. Poor angle, and just like that, Baltimore takes the lead.
Murray really showing up there. You know who else showed up in this game, Cam, was T-Roy Gaines. He was everywhere.
And look, right on cue, T-Roy Gaines down the field on a deep pass with the catch to start the 4th quarter. This was a really defensive football game, really well-played game, but Baltimore would start to pull away, up 13-12. Jack Wigmore, clean pocket. Mac Chima with the ballerina feet on the sideline. Pretty play there from Mac Chima. Gets Baltimore inside the 5 to extend the lead. 2nd down and goal. It's T-Roy. Finishes him off. Almost got stopped. 20-12. Baltimore on top of Canton. This is another game that had an insane finish. We're not done yet. Not even close. Scar Patterson in the back of the end zone. Look at the toe tap. This was just gorgeous after Baltimore got another field goal. That's Al Dillapre Sr. makes it 23-18. The 2-point conversion, no good, but look at this throw.
The Canton sideline is going crazy because Scar Patterson put that on the money, Cam.
Warren Murray fumbles, trying to wrap the game up, gives Canton new life. King Jamal, who's been so good this season, recovers the fumble, and Canton has the ball on the road, 95 seconds left, no timeouts, with a chance to put the defending champs to 1-3. Could they do it? Here's another look at it. Just an incredible pop out of the football to give Canton a chance.
King Jamal has really been a standout for Canton. Unbelievably. He's played really, really good.
38 seconds left. Canton a little bit frantic. 3rd down and 4. Scar Patterson trying to make something happen. Doesn't even see Troy LaShaw, who had a pick earlier in the game, and he is gone as well. And Baltimore makes the score a little bit more of a blowout than it actually was. 30-18. Baltimore's won 2 in a row, basically in the final minute of each game with their defense. They're starting to get a hang of things. Canton falls to 2-2, but kind of like Houston, Mike, I still feel pretty good about what the Classics have shown me through 4 weeks.
They've really showed a lot of balance, Cam. They've really been in every game. And this game, that was a really, like, you can't judge the entire game off of that scoreline because Canton was there until the very end. That King Jamal fumble recovery was huge. And look, you're going to make mistakes. Scar Patterson, shake it off. Get out there. Continue to play the way that you've been playing. This Canton organization is going to be fine. And as for Baltimore, look, everybody look out because Baltimore, they're figuring it out. they're getting on their feet, and that's something that other teams have to be aware of. They kind of struggled out of the gate, but you don't want them to find their feet.
Lightning round here as we go through some routes. Minnesota improves to 3-1, 3-0 at home. It was 34-19 or 35-19. The score wasn't as close as the game felt. They outscored Sioux Falls 24-3 in the second. They forced 4 turnovers. The red zone offense for Sioux Falls is still a bit of a mess. Sioux Falls beat Denver by 8, but it seems at this point a little bit like an anomaly. Minnesota just, it's just crushing people. And we
Sioux
don't do
Falls second halves. Their second halves, their struggles continue.
Yeah, and we don't do highlights of blowouts here on this show. Minnesota, if you want some highlights, you got to stop killing people. They're plus 94 in point differential, even though they have a loss. It's crazy.
It's crazy. Yeah. Well, you don't do highlights of blowouts, then San Diego ain't finding the screen anytime
coming
soon.
Up. First, Vancouver throttles Mexico City 51-17. They improved to 2-1. Their lone loss is to unbeaten Alamo City, so that's pretty impressive. And then next week, Vancouver takes on Arizona, as Eddie mentioned earlier in the program. That is game of the week material all over it. It's going to be awesome.
Yeah, that's definitely one to watch out for. Arizona 3-1. Vancouver, are they sitting at 3-1 or 2? Is it 2-1?
2-1.
2-1 because of the bye. Yep. So, look, Arizona and Vancouver, this is going to be crazy. 51 points of offense, I believe, from Vancouver this past week, and that's just it's crazy. They've got it figured out. They've got a good game plan early on in the season. Arizona really are going to have to rely on their defense for this game. Definitely.
Mexico City still searching for answers. Phoenix Jones was released. Jermaine Menafield was signed. Then he got hurt in the second half of this game. It's just not going their way. Right now there are 3 winless teams in the SFL, Mike. Atlanta, Mexico City, and Tulsa. Tulsa plays later tonight, so it's an odd group. Mexico City, Tulsa made the playoffs. Atlanta was the number 1 seed. And Mexico City, I think they just missed out in the playoffs. Maybe I'm thinking about the season before, but yeah, that's wild. All right, we've come to the show where Mike gets to
break down the loss of San Diego.
There you go. Well, I didn't know what you were going to say, cry or hug a pillow or something, but Vegas' secondary locks down their third straight opponent. That was the story of this game for me. Vegas' secondary is just straight up nasty. Next week, San Diego plays Denver, so that's the wrong time to be facing the Nightwings after they looked really good this week. But Las Vegas, man, 2-1. Their only loss to Vancouver, whose only loss is to Alamo City. The string of events in the power rankings is shaping up nicely. And, man, Vegas, my surprise team so far through 4 weeks of the season, in my view.
I completely agree with you. Look, and it's hard to sit here and break down a team that just did us like that. But, at the end of the day, this is a secondary. This is a defense that I think was talked about in the offseason after the contracts got released. People started talking. They were like, okay, this is the highest paid secondary, right? They put a lot of emphasis into and a lot of money into their defense. And the thing is, it's showing up, Cam. I would like to think that San Diego has good quality running backs, and we have quite a few of them. And it just wasn't working on Vegas, and here's what the problem is. As a coach looking at this team, you have to say, okay, well, they have the highest paid and most well-rounded secondary in the league, right? But when they're shutting down the run like this, how do you game plan against that? How do you walk into a game and say, okay, we're going to avoid the secondary? Well, then you look at what they're allowing, which is like 70 rushing yards per game. And then you say, well, we're not going to attack it with the run. What do you do, Cam?
Yeah.
I
don't know what you do. And they kind of remind me a little bit of Minnesota, a little bit of Alamo City, that it's very difficult to attack them in any sort of meaningful offensive way, right? You just kind of have to take what you get done the entire game and hope that you can score enough points to get the win. TJ Harper, $4.99 super chat. Nemesis. Congrats to Fox on his promotion. Thank you all. Thank you to all the Seattle staff that helped put us at 3-1 before the bye, and that's who we're getting to next. The Seattle Nemesis beat Los Angeles 35-21. LA lost both safeties in this game. You can't win games in this league if you lose your 2-star safeties, Ryan Yosef and Rochelle Colston. That's just bad luck. LA didn't look bad. Seattle looked like they've looked the first 3 weeks pretty great. And their defense turned in their best showing through 4 weeks as well. Gets them to 3-1.
Yeah, Seattle, the way I chalk this up, Cam, is Seattle went in and they took care of business. They've been playing like they have, right? Everybody's got them high up on their board, rightfully so, because they've been playing good. This is a game with an LA team that hasn't quite found their stride yet. And, Seattle came in and they took care of business.
$10 super chat from Doug Day. My bad, Doug. Week 6, Seattle, Alamo City, Monday Night Spectacular. Make it happen, Cam. I think it's outside our flex window. You'd have to show me a really bad Week 6 matchup. I don't have it in front of me to put a flex in that early in the season. But we'll see. It's a pretty good game, Mike.
It could be something. That could be something.
I try not to be too selfish. PGI caught up with Fox Highwind after the win.
Welcome back to PGI, where we are joined with a good friend of mine, Mr. Fox Highwind, wide receiver for the Seattle Nemesis, and also assistant GM. Kudos to you for that accomplishment, man. How are you?
Thank you, Ashley. I'm good. How are you? How have you been since the convention?
Hey, man, I'm doing very well. A little saddened that I had to wear a specific logo for a whole week, but
That's what
sometimes things
happens.
happen.
Yeah, sometimes you find out after you make bets. We'll go with that.
Gotcha. But you guys are sitting pretty at 3-1 right now, and
Yes.
it's looking like a different Seattle Nemesis team out there. So what do you think has happened since this, from even last season until now, to make you guys such a powerful force?
Well, without having been there last season to really get a good comparison, I can't say for sure. But from what I've heard, the locker room is much more respondent, much more energetic. Polly and Doug joining the ownership group has been fantastic. TJ is a great general manager. We've got a lot of good people on the team in the locker room, and it's a big family. We're also very supportive of each other. I think that also helps out a lot. Plus, having the number 1 draft pick, who is also an excellent coach, that works out well too.
Indeed. Indeed. Well, you guys are definitely raising the bar, that was set, even for that in conference. So, hey, keep doing your thing, Fox. Is there anything that you want to say to the fans of Seattle now that you have their attention?
I absolutely do. We're not done. We're not. We may be going into a bye week 3-1, and 3-1 looks really good right now. But we're never going to stop trying to push that bar higher, trying to improve, and bring a championship home to Seattle, where it really it needs to belong for the next few seasons. Sorry, Ashley.
Don't worry. I'm not worried.
Oh, you're not worried? That's true. Our game is already passed. That's true. You no need to worry anymore.
I wasn't worried then too much. But either way.
All right. Fair enough.
Thank you so much for your time, Fox. I really appreciate you. And I can't wait to see how you guys fare for the rest of the season.
Thank you, Ashley.
You're very welcome. Back to you in the booth.
Thank you to Ashley and all our guests each week on This Week in the SFL. It truly makes the show better than it would be if Mike and I were just sitting here this whole time. And it's good to see some new faces like Alex Marshall this week, who have not been on the show either before or a lot. Fox and Ashley making me kind of regret that game has already happened on the schedule. That should have been like week 12. Who would have thunk it?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, both of those teams, man. Arizona, Seattle, there's not enough that you could say about both those teams for sure.
Before we dive into our preview of Fort Worth and Tulsa, that kickoff is coming up very shortly. Your final thoughts on a Week 4 weekend, Mike, that had some blowouts, but also had some wild finishes, some really close games, and some really great competitive play on the field.
This was a week of clarity, Cam. I think that you're starting to see, the teams that are gonna take that corner, and really start to find their stride. I think we learned that Vancouver is a very, very good team. I think we learned that Denver cannot be slept on. I think we learned, teams like Vegas, okay, yeah, their defense is real, right? It's not just, the two offenses that they've played. I think that there was a lot of clarity this week, and teams are really starting to figure it out. And it's really cool because you're starting to see identities form in teams, and you're starting to say, okay, that's what kind of team they are. It was good football.
And I can't wait for this one. On paper, it's like, oh, man, I don't know. Fort Worth 2-0. They're unbeaten. Tulsa hasn't won, and they really haven't looked all that great through the first 2 weeks, although that Denver loss is looking a little better from week 1. And then they just did not play well a couple of weeks ago before they were on bye. So how do they turn it around? Douglas Brown, Gabriel Manning, they got the weapons, got to unleash them, but this Fort Worth team is for real. What are your keys to tonight, Mike?
You got to get pressure on Marcus Dunhill. You have to get pressure on Marcus Dunhill.
He looks elite.
Because he's prime Marcus Dunhill right now. And that's the problem. I mean, we know what he's capable of, Hall of Famer, right? Like, we know what he is capable of. And at the end of the day, man, like, you got to get Douglas Brown going. They've had 2 weeks. You have to get Douglas Brown going. If you haven't learned anything from these 4 weeks, you have to get the run game going. So Douglas Brown's got to get going, find creative ways to use Gabriel Manning on offense. But for defense, man, I would just do everything possible to get to the quarterback. Everything possible. Make Marcus Dunhill make mistakes, right? He's known to throw some interceptions in his past. Make him have one of those 4 interceptions games.
Yeah, it's interesting, Mike, because you kind of take the approach of forcing Fort Worth into, having a poor passing attack. I think it starts up front in a different way. I think they've got to contain J.Z. Bacon because Marcus Dunhill ahead of the sticks has just been amazing this season. They got to get him uncomfortable in a different way. 3rd and long situations, forcing the ball out of Jay-Z's hand. And so that's going to be interesting. On the flip side, Tulsa needs some explosivity, right, Mike? The first couple of weeks, we just really haven't seen him gun for it, right? They're not getting a ton of big plays. In fact, if you were to ask me what's the 40-yard play from Tulsa's first 2 weeks that you remember, I can't give you an answer. Right? I think they've got to find something over the top. They've got to find a way to unlock this powerful offensive attack.
Yeah, they've got the weapons, right? We were talking about Queen City, how Queen City doesn't have the shiniest tools in the shed. Well, Tulsa does, right? They have players to make these plays. They have, in my opinion, I've been very vocal about it. I think Gabriel Manning is the best receiver in this new era.
He's so good.
I just think he's so good. You can be triple covered and still come up with a catch, but they have to be creative. If they don't come into this game, if they just come out putting him in, X receiver spot the entire game, he's going to be locked down. Move him around. Get him in the slot. I would love to see Gabriel Manning out of the tight end position, right? Like, just get him matched up against a linebacker. Douglas Brown, right? Run Douglas Brown in cool ways. I would love to see some screens to Douglas Brown. Maybe get his legs turning a little bit, right? And getting that feeling back of open grass. So, I mean, there's ways. They just have to find ways to get explosive plays.
We have a special PGI bonus to get you excited for tonight's Monday Night Spectacular. Paul Sarp, a late scratch, hung up on his day earlier today, so we're super bummed about that. Chris Curtis is going to join me as an analyst. He will also be along with Tyler Falk at the half. $9.99 super chat from Skippy. Mike gives Cam a word to say at least once every quarter. Hope not. Hope not. I don't want that challenge. I'm scared of that challenge. Please don't do that to me, Mike. Don't listen to her. But, bonus PGI here with Wade Phillips, a.k.a. Philadelphia Collins, previewing tonight's Tulsa home opener matchup with don't No thumbs up. No, none of that.
Shenanigans.
Welcome
That's
back
the word.
to
Shenanigans.
where I am joined with Mr. Wade Phillips, aka Philadelphia Collins. He is not only linebacker for the Tulsa Desperados, he's also the offensive coordinator. How are you doing, sir?
I'm doing awesome. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm so glad that you made it.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
I'm glad to have you. And listen, so I know you're getting ready to hit the field in a few moments, but I just wanted to take some time out to ask, Fort Worth is coming into this game 2-0. Tulsa is searching for their first win at 0-2. What do you think that you all would have to do offensively in order to turn that corner and actually turn things around for you guys at this moment with this game?
Well, with this game, I mean, they've got a really good team. I mean, they've got stars at just about every position, but we've got to really target our talented players and our stars like Gabe and Doug, and even some of the players like DJ and Sanzo and DJ Bandit. Just use everybody that we can, incorporate everyone into the offense, get that run game going. Really, we have to take the plays that really didn't work from our first two matchups and really throw those out and go with what we've run sim after sim, and we really think that we've come up with a game plan that can get us a victory tonight.
Awesome. One more question for you, Coach.
Yeah.
Since this is my first time actually interviewing you and speaking with you, I would love to know, what is your coaching philosophy as an offensive coordinator for Tulsa?
So I personally like more of a West Coast, but I like to spread it all over the field, incorporate every one of our players because they're all threats. Everyone can threaten from any phase of the game. We like to block hard and just incorporate everyone into our offense.
Awesome. Well, I cannot wait to see what you guys do tonight. As you know, you guys will always have a special place in my heart because you were the very first team that I started with. So good luck to both teams this evening, and can't wait to see what you guys do.
Thank you very much for having me.
Anytime. Back to you in the booth.
Now that is interesting. Wade Phillips is the OC in Tulsa. Maybe a little bit of mix-up, a little bit of shake-up here as we get to learn a little bit more about what Tulsa might do tonight against Fort Worth. Oh, the juices are flowing already, Mike, with this matchup. It's going to be a great one. I know Lucy Red's going to be rocking.
Yeah, man, you said it best. I mean, with a new coach coming in here, right, talking about a spread offense, we could expect to see some shenanigans tonight.
Oh, here we go. I'll do my best, folks. All right. That is this week in the SFL, week number 4. It was a great week of football action, but we are not done here on this YouTube channel. Fort Worth and Tulsa comes your way in a matter of moments. Chris Curtis and myself will be on for the call here on the Monday Night Spectacular. Fort Worth, Tulsa coming up next. Don't go anywhere.